Hello friends, near and far. Dear to my heart, I'm Victoria with Aligned Soul Tarot. This reading will be for Aries and all Aries placements found within your birth chart, especially where you have first house influence in your chart. Cross watchers, of course, you're welcome here. Take the messages as you see fit. You know, the power of free will is always at play with any of my readings, and I highly encourage you to watch your other placements. If you don't know about your other placements in your chart, I offer detailed birth chart readings, and I have a 10% off eclipse sale going on until the end of September. So take advantage of that. Okay, you can look into your birth chart, you can get a relationship chart reading. Check out my website below for all of my services. Also, I have a North and South Node series. It's an eclipse month. We're going to get really deep into what this means for you. Okay, and I want you to look into your North and South Node natal placements. Again, right now as a collective, we are in this North Node in Aries. So any Aries or any cardinal signs really, right? This is Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer. They're going to be feeling the impact of this eclipse especially, okay? And Pisces. I have a pick-a-pile reading that I just did on Patreon. So join me there. I'm going to have a lot of extra support for you, especially for you, again, with this Aries North Node influence. You may very well have that in your natal chart, so check that playlist as well. As a Patreon member, you always get 20% off my services too, so you get a plethora of content to support you through this eclipse season. And also, you get to reflect back to April. We're going to talk about that because that was the last time that we really were setting out into this Aries North Node in your season. You know, there's a lot of gusto there for you, and we're also in this Chiron in Aries. So this is a very influential time for you, Aries, believe it or not. So much healing, so much coming up around the shadow side and the light side of Aries. And Pisces is asking you to really dig deep into kind of past lives even, your past versions of yourself, the first 7 years of your life, your South Node, right? And the love reading for September is also linked below. These readings are more self-focused, but if love shows up here, it's all the better. We are still in Virgo season, okay? And we'll talk about what that means for you. I do use a house system, but say you have a stellium or you're cross-watching, all of this astro content can fit, okay? Virgo is the house of purification. It's also the house of service. With this kind of Pisces Virgo, you know, they're opposites. So we're really feeling into the martyr and being of service and knowing that balance, when to have healthy boundaries. And that's that North Node in Aries, right? You know how to set healthy boundaries, but we're kind of healing the wounds around the warrior, you know, knowing when to drop our sword, knowing when to pick our battles, and knowing when to just discontinue with conflict, right? Not having to justify ourselves, Libra South Node. And that Virgo influence is really flavoring it with this purification. So this can be ritual, routine, detox, clean water, right? Getting out in nature, going for a walk, journaling. Virgo season's all about the fine details in our daily routines that get us there, right? We have to declutter. We have to also declutter the mind. Virgo represents our inner critic, which we all have. We can't get away from that, but we can reframe it. And on my Instagram, if you follow me there, I have a really awesome, easy therapy tool that you can use to reframe your thoughts so that you can turn that inner critic to your inner coach. I will link that below as well. Okay, so you can find that link here. Let's get into your reading. Hi Aries, and welcome to this space. Thank you for joining me here. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date for when I post. I'm going to be finishing off that North and South Node series. As of now, that playlist is below, and I have Aries North Node through Scorpio North Node. So I'm going to finish that off this week, as well as all the other monthly readings. So stay tuned, stay up to date, and watch for other placements, especially if this is not resonating or you just want to deepen the message, right? It's always good to deepen these messages looking into your other placements in your chart. Specifically for you, your Chiron and your North Node, South Node, and also your Saturn. These are highly influential planets to be looking into, and we'll see what other energies show up for you in this reading, okay? So let's talk about this 12th house for you. 12th house is Pisces, and again, that's your neighbor. Pisces is your neighbor, as above, so below, right? What's hidden, what's below the surface, the subconscious realms, past lives, ancestry, our lineage, where we've come from. This full moon lunar eclipse is really digging up the trenches here, and it can feel like a lot for Aries because there's so much differences between the 12th and the 1st. again, it's like what's below the surface. And Aries is all about that, you know, willpower. I am showing up in the world, you know, the independent thinker, the radical free thinker, autonomy, independence, right? The rebel streak in us. We're all feeling that right now with this Aries North Node. And you very well, again, could have that natal placement depending on when you were born. Me, myself, I have an Aries North Node. I'm 37. So you'll find that people around your same age within a couple years will share the same North Node as you. So it's really good to pull on those friends that are really close in age to help you navigate your North Node, sharing and talking about these qualities. If you got some weird friends out there that like astrology and tarot like me. But if you don't, you know, I'm here for you to be that weird friend. So 12th house, yeah. This is, again, what's hidden. This eclipse is in Pisces in your 12th house. How much more Pisces can you get? Where do you have 12th house or Pisces in your chart? That will also flavor this. And I have a 6-month transit reading if you want to get really familiar with your unique blueprint, right? Again, if you already did a birth chart reading, you already know about that. Transits are another step into understanding, again, how your birth chart is evolving, because it's not just that linear. Astrology and tarot is always changing and evolving, right? Just like we are, hopefully, right? As a collective and on a personal level. That's my goal with these readings. So the transits help you kind of keep up with your chart. Because again, when you're born, this is kind of the blueprint, but we evolve, we grow, right? Especially after our first Saturn return. That is highly influential with Saturn. It's still in Pisces, and also this lunar eclipse in Pisces. So Saturn in the 12th house, you're going to be looking into even enemies, hidden enemies, people that you thought were your allies that weren't, having to read between the lines. Again, dreams, spirituality, seeing through illusion, fantasy, fears, phobias, all these things with the 12th house, okay? It can be very diluted, so it's important to stay grounded, Aries, okay? This is all about that grounded Virgo energy that's asking you to apply structure into your day-to-day life. This can be very simple. You don't have to go all woo-woo with it. You literally can seek out therapy, seek out groups, talk to friends about this stuff, get a reading from me, right? Looking into these things, tapping into spiritual practices. It can be as easy as going for a walk in nature, okay? It's that simple. It doesn't have to be as grandiose as you think, okay? So Pluto just danced back into Capricorn as a reminder, like, hey, do you remember that lifetime? Again, Pisces represents past lives, and again, our ancestry, our family, what we were born into, what we chose for some to be born into, to learn our karma, Saturn. It's in your 10th house of achievements. This is more Saturn influence. So how much more Saturn can you get? For some of you that are going through your Saturn return, I reprimand you. This is a deep freaking dive, okay? Your first Saturn return is around 20 to 30 years of age, and then your second is 58 to 60 years of age. So wherever you are there, if you haven't experienced it, but if you're feeling that cry for assistance, this is the time to get a reading. This is the time to seek out therapy, counsel, to kind of navigate this, because it can be rough with all this Saturnian influence for you, right? 10th, 12th house. This is like, Aries, who are you? Like, you thought you knew who you are, but you're stripping away a lot of this identity. Chiron and Aries, laying down your shield. You know, you're always about that good fight. But again, what are you fighting for? You know, is it actually something that you should be fighting about, or is it something that, you know, you have to just lay down that sword? And we talked about this in April. Again, watch that April reading. I will link it for you, okay? I'm going to put a note here if you haven't watched it and you're new to my channel. Also, again, on Patreon, I have an April eclipse reading. Watch that reading. All those eclipse readings are very timeless, just like any of my readings, really. But especially eclipses, they're timestamps. It's a trickle effect. So those intentions, what's going on, the seeds we are planting at those times, we are setting out intentions like a stone, and it has a ripple effect, right? And that's kind of the ripple effect from April to now. What seeds were you planting then? What was coming up in April, and what's happening now? Okay, these are time markers. And I did get that for you in your intuitive messages. So Venus also in Libra, Libra's your opposite. It's in your 7th house. And when I was feeling into that seventh house of partnership, it can be very lovely. But again, also your opposite can bring up some tension around relationships. Where the tension lies is where the growth is. That's why it's so important to look into your north and south nodes, because our south node, again, is what we're comfortable with. These qualities in your chart you can find in parental role models, relationships, right? So if you look into those placements, you could be surprised. Like, wow, I have a lot of friends that are in that sign, or my parents were in that sign, or my boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, were in that sign. So you see there's a lot of stuff to unravel here. And like I was saying, that 7th house in Venus, I got the song, I'm bringing sexy back, Justin Timberlake. And then I got Finish Him, Mortal Kombat. It was really interesting, Finish Him or Her, but I saw that, you know, if you don't know Mortal Kombat, look it up. It's a really funny, there's probably several memes on that, you know, just to apply some humor here. And then I got Gusto. So there's something about getting your sexy back. And then I got Kid Cudi, Solo Dolo, because I got Dark Night. So there could be something happening at night. Like you could be really having a lot of these 12th house kind of elusive thoughts and getting into some fears. And if you're not very spiritual, this could be kind of scary. It could feel very hidden and like, what's going on with me? But also the 12th house is asking you to rest. So around this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, it's good to take a break, okay? Try your best, you know, if you can. I know all of you have life happening, we all do, but any simple things, it does not have to be big, Aries, okay? So try to rest, take some time, don't beat yourself up too much, okay? Because with all this kind of 10th, 6th, 12th house, again, Virgo's in your 6th house, this is like getting you on the straight and narrow, and it could feel a bit rough, like you're getting reprimanded. And I know, Aries, you freaking hate that. You're like, don't tell me what to do. I know, but you might need to listen. You might need to empathize, especially with yourself, right? Those things that you kind of hid away from or you suppressed for so long. It's asking you, Pisces, is like surrender, open up, right? This is the last, but definitely not the least sign. So it's all encompassing. There's a lot of empathy found here. There's a lot of about surrendering to the human experience. And we talked about this in the Pickle Power reading. So I urge you to watch that reading, okay? So yeah, I'm bringing sexy back. And then I heard equality, Libra, again. Something about that Venus in Libra. It's really pulling on your heartstrings in a good or bad way. We'll see. You know, and again, you could be feeling both, right? It could be happy, but also kind of painful, like bittersweet. I'm going to actually put that down here, remember. I think that might go in your title somewhere, bittersweet. Because there is something bitter about this kind of 10th, Pluto in the 10th house, going back into your 11th. Who are my people? Who can I confide in? Who can I trust in? You know, and again, I want to remind you with that kind of influence, Pluto to the 10th, and then going back into Aquarius, middle of November, is we can play victim. We can blame others for what they've done to us and how horrible they are. And, you know, Aries, you gotta stop doing that to some extent. We all do. We have to start looking at ourselves. How did I attract that person? What does that say about my character? Why are these people surrounding me? Why am I allowing them in my life? Again, and not just bulldozing through the lesson, really trying to sit with it and say, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? Okay, Saturn and Pisces in your 12th house. And again, hidden enemies, people that you thought you could confide in, you're finding out maybe that the harsh reality is that those relationships were not built on really good foundations, right? And then maybe this is you rechecking yourself and how you show up in relationship to others, whether it's intimate, family, friends, work colleagues. How can you do better? That's where it starts. You can't always, like, again, ask everyone else to do better, because free will, guess what? They have a choice too, just like you. We can't force anyone to change. That's not going to get you anywhere. Trust me, I've tried. All right, Aries. And that's where that good fight is, where you're like, you want them to do better. You see the good in them. You know, you want them to get the point, but really you're beating a dead horse here. There comes a time, and again, that's what we're learning with Aries North Node right now as a collective, is to drop the battle. We don't have to keep trying to prove ourselves, Libra South Node, because Libra is justice, right? We want to have peace and harmony and come to some common ground, but we're not always gonna have that with people, and that's okay. We have to accept that, and it might feel like defeat, but it's not. It's a time for you to, again, take accountability and say, you know, thank you for the lessons, but now I'm moving on. Pick your battles, okay? Aries, you don't have to justify yourself to anyone. But with you, Aries, I do feel like you have to have empathy for your enemy too. Chiron and Aries. Because a lot of people, honestly, are going through a lot of the same struggles as you if you just let them in. Aries, what do we have for the Aries collective? Ooh, secrets. Yeah, that's that 5th house or 12th house. Look at the imagery here. So I want you to look at this. This is that Pisces effect, right? We're feeling into. I just got this creativity oracle to kind of strengthen my intuition because I'm a forever student. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm right along with you on this journey. Trust me, you know? Us healers, mentors, therapists, we're doing all this work right with you. So when I show you this card, I want you to think what comes up to you. What are some keywords you see? What are some things that stand out? I'm going to give you a moment. All right, so we see the moon here. We see a bird. This is, it looks like it's a, I don't actually know, kind of like a hawk or an eagle. Not really an eagle, no. But there's feminine energy here. This is the moon, so this is Pisces, Cancer. There's like this very ethereal. This is definitely Pisces energy. And birds represent a message. So there's a messenger from the other realm, 12th house, right? We talked about this, Saturn in your 12th house, and Saturn, guess what? It's not going anywhere for a while. So you got to sit down with this. You got to sit down with Saturn. And I also on Patreon have a Saturn retrograde reading. And below I have, about a year and a half ago, I did the Saturn and Pisces reading. You can find those links below if you want to get familiar with this, because Saturn in the 12th house is definitely going to ask a lot of you. And it's not about actually doing things necessarily. It's a lot about meditating on things, slowing down, again, tapping into spiritual practices, being more mindful, thinking before you speak, Aries, and rest. Take care of yourself. You can't do it all in one day. Saturn, time. This is secrets. Conceal plans and actions from those not ready to accept you as you are. We were just talking about this. Pluto in Capricorn, 10th house, where you've been, what you've achieved, your goals, your ambitions, your drives, your karma that's attached to that too, right? Again, Pisces also talks about karma, past lives, karma, and also tied to family karma, hurt people type thing. So with that 11th house in Pluto and Aquarius, which is going to stay in for a long time, so get familiar with this. Pluto in the 11th house, there's going to be some sort of crisis around friends, family, networks. And you might have to hide some things around people that you thought, maybe like, this is that quote that's coming up. And who had this? Someone had this in their reading. It was like, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. This is that message of Chiron and Aries for you, of like befriending the enemy in a way, because there's a lot to learn from them. And you might not share everything with them, but be open, be the observer, you know, keeping a watchful eye with no judgment, but just kind of keeping yourself a bit more concealed, not blurting things out, not being overly sharing right now. That 12th house is asking you to kind of keep things close to your chest for now, okay? We're gonna see more about what that means. I just got this deck, the Fountain Tarot, so let's pull for you. This is gonna be for Aries. My Aries viewers, whenever you find this, thank you again for trusting in me. Thank you for joining me here in this beautiful space that we get to create together, okay? And whenever you find this, yes, we're talking about September here, but just know that there's a trickle effect with any eclipses as well, and all my readings are truly timeless whenever you find it. You're meant to find these messages. And cross watchers, you can place the rules as you see fit, right? There's some messages here for you too. There's justice. There's that Libra South Node. Libra strong here. You could have Libra in your chart or dealing with a Libra. But I think this is just talking about feeling like something's not justified, especially amongst people around you. You can't trust them. You can't trust people. You're having a hard time. Aries. Aries, what do we have for Aries? Please show me the truth and nothing but the truth for my Aries collective. Healed ancestors, guides, allies. Please show me what Aries needs to know right now. Okay. I like that. Beautiful. Yeah, you're detaching from, yeah, okay, cool. We'll take these to start. Yeah, you're moving into an initiation. I'm going to actually link a really awesome tarot interpreter. He has taught me so much. His name is Atypical Tarot. I'm going to write this down to remember because I actually have gotten the Six of Swords a lot in my private readings. And I want you, that's at the bottom of the deck. So this is the underlying energy here, okay? It's important. 6 and 4 of Swords, right? Okay. So again, that's that recharge, being a bit more elusive and not in a bad way, but this is just learning how to zip it. Aries, you can definitely learn when to do that because when you feel like something's not justified, you will fight for someone. And that is beautiful. I have my Aries North Node. You know, I have a lot of Aries in my life. I grew up with a lot of my mom was an Aries. I dated Aries. I love Aries, but I also know that shadow side to Aries, that's for sure. And, you know, they can really stand up for the underdog. They have a really big heart. You know, you're the first. You're the babies of the zodiac. You know, you got a lot to give, and you got a lot of vitality there. And also, the rest of your chart will flavor this, right? You're not just your sun sign. But the message I'm getting here is you're moving more into this very tranquil place or being guided to with the 4 and 6 of Swords. And Atypical Tarot, he talks about the 6 of Swords as an initiation. You know, you get to choose what baggage are you taking with you as you move to calmer waters, right? You might be keeping something hidden, right, from some people about plans, or you might just be kind of going it alone a bit for a while. 4 of Swords, 6 of Swords, just to find some peace. Protect your peace is what I hear. Protect your neck. Wu-Tang. You know, not everyone has to know your business. But there are some people that do. And that's what you're learning with Pluto going into your 11th house. Who are my people? Taurus got the similar message again. Taurus is your neighbor. Much like Pisces, there's a lot to learn from your neighbors. Okay, so Taurus and Pisces have a lot to teach you. Where do you have that in your chart? Okay. But yeah, there's grief, there's sadness. 5 of Cups to the 3 of Cups in reverse around disconnection from people. And we're getting a lot of people here in relationship, you know, Libra, this is 7th house, you know. So in the love reading, we'll really see more deeply about commitments in general. We have the Taurus showing up, Aries, Emperor, beautiful. You are restructuring, you're reprioritizing here. You see this Emperor imagery. It's 4th house for me. It represents 4. You know, this is all about Cancer. This is 4th house, what's hidden within the home. Also 4th and 12th, the connections there is what's hidden, secrets. There's secrets you're keeping or others are keeping, and you don't have to try to prod it out of them. That's not what's going to bring you happiness. What's going to bring you happiness is letting go of those people that you just can't trust. And when you let go, the biggest lesson here is this 4 of Swords, 6 of Swords, because the 4 of Swords is about meditating on that 3 of Swords, and then they hold on to their truth as they are in this meditative place. This is my therapy card. So again, this is getting tarot readings, therapy, joining a group. This could be on Facebook, joining some sort of support system, AA, you know, wherever you're at. Everyone's different on what they're healing and what they're needing to know. This could be having a talk with a family member that you've been disconnected from. This could be reconnecting with a past lover or friend that maybe you had a falling out with, if you feel that's justified. But there are some people where it's like, no, it's not the time. There's a balance here with what you're sharing and who you're sharing it with. And I think that's what you're learning. There is a lot of beautiful energy that wants to come through for you. Magician to the 10 of Cups, to the Page of Wands. There you are. This is hope. A refound hope on what emotional security and happiness looks like. Pisces, 10 of Cups. You know, I feel like something is blooming. I don't think you're at the 10 of Cups. For some of you, you might be, or you're reflecting on it, about what was not justified. The Justice in reverse can also talk about a divorce. So maybe you had a separation of some sort, something that was legal, a legal binding contract, or karmic contracts, right? Past life, South Node. But the 10 of Cups can also talk about just family in general. So this could be like reconnecting with a family member. They could be, I'm seeing signs here of Scorpio. We have Cancer, we have Leo, we have Sag, we have Gemini, Pisces, Aquarius, Libra. And there you are, Taurus, Aries. Okay, these could be people that you could have in relation to you. But you are finding a newfound sense of hope. But like most of my readings, I'd have to say the Pick a Power reading on my Patreon was a lot about solitude, working through our loneliness, knowing how to be alone. Aries North Node, that's a big thing that they're learning, you know. Knowing, learning from our relationships. They're all experiments with that South Node in Libra. Collectively, we're all feeling this. Again, if you have it in your natal chart, it's just even more impactful for you. But the Libra South Node for all of us is talking about like those past karmic relationships, whether they're this lifetime or other lifetimes, they taught you something so valuable, although they might have been excruciatingly painful. 5 of Cups. You're learning how to disconnect and when to disconnect. You don't always have to fight. You don't have to justify yourself. You don't have to always try to have peace for the sake of peace, you know, because below the surface there's a lot of tension. 8 of Wands and reverse 7 of Wands. So the 8 of Wands is also talking about recharge. This is delays. Maybe you feel like something's delayed, but it's for your highest good. 10 of Cups, the Magician, Gemini, Virgo. You are definitely regaining some sense of autonomy and power through a bit of isolation. Like I said, the Pick a Power readings they all had this flavor. And of course, that would be the case. Pisces is 12th house. Like I said, it's about the place of rest, recharge, recalibration. You know, Mercury retrograde last month was all about preparation. Retrogrades are preparation. We're in the thick of it still until December. Again, a lot of this retrograde energy is not going to lighten up till December, January. So also on Patreon, I've been doing a lot of retrograde readings and post-eclipse readings. So it's okay to go slow. Go at your own pace, right? Conceal some things. Some people are not ready to accept you as you are, especially if you are transforming or going through some sort of changes here. And having healthy boundaries too, 7 of Wands, you know, knowing when to kind of fight off things. And also knowing when to drop your wand. There's a time and a place where you might have to defend yourself, but it's also how are you defending yourself? Are you coming in with a rational kind of communication? 8 of Wands. This could be very scattered, you know, all over the place. Are you trying to, again, come at someone as an attack, you know, and just calling them a bunch of names? Is that going to really get you anywhere? Yeah, you might feel in the moment it feels good. But then after a couple months, years, you might actually reflect on it. Maybe that's what you're starting to realize, like, wow, I could have done that differently, or they could have done that differently. And then it's like forgiving that. I've been talking about reframing as well. Like we said in the beginning of the reading, really quick, easy tools that therapists use to reframe some of the negative mindset that we have around ourselves, inner critic, and others. So you're learning how to refrain. And the 7 of Wands, I'm getting a reminder to show you in the Light Seers deck, the imagery here, she's actually very protected. And she's not actually coming at it from a place of like being worried. You know, she's just like, this is petty. So there's something around like, you know what? I don't need to prove my point to you. I just need a break. Like maybe people are like, well, why don't you want to come out? Why don't you want to talk? And it's like, you know, I'm just not ready. You don't have to judge them. See the 7 of Wands, how she has this orb around her and there's all these wands, but she's above it. She's kind of turning her head away, but she's keeping her heart open. She's internalizing something and she's being enlightened in her solar plexus. So she's regaining some level of confidence as she learns how to disconnect from people that are creating tension, okay? let's see here. Let's pull from the Moonology. This could talk about moon phases that are upcoming or have been impacting you in your life. For Aries, what do we have for the Aries collective? Please show me the truth. Your dreams need a practical plan, Taurus. Like I said, Taurus. You could have a Taurus south node here. This is that south node. Or Taurus north node. What happened during Taurus season? That was May. That was right after April. So again, what happened in April during that eclipse that was in your sign? Maybe you felt like things were shifting and shaking and you needed some sort of practical plan back in May. And now you're really trying to, again, maybe you went through since May, April, May to now. Things might have been a bit aloof and scattered and you had to kind of go back into your cave a bit. Again, it's a strength year. It's an 8 year. So this is also 8th house influence for you. This recalibration, this recharge that I've been seeing in a lot of my readings. It's because we're learning about our south node, or we're being guided to, okay? Highly influential for you to look at your south node. Again, Taurus, or again, the opposite of Taurus is Scorpio. So you could have a Scorpio or Taurus north node or south node. The playlist is below to look into that. What else do we have? Adjustments are required. Yeah, you need to get more practical here, and that's what you're doing as you're kind of allowing delays. You know, you're not coming at it with like anger or hostility or being scattered. And if you are there right now, you're being advised to slow the F down. 4 of Swords, 6 of Swords. The answers you need are coming, so you don't have to prod communication out of someone. You can be a bit more elusive right now, and if people don't like it, tough shit, I'm sorry, And it's not to say that you don't want to communicate with these people, because I do feel that, Aries, you're learning how to effectively communicate. And, like I keep wanting to say this to you, and I'm probably going to put this in your title somewhere, is that's the shadow side of Aries. There's so many great things about Aries, but they can really just blur out things without thinking. And then afterwards they're like, I'm sorry about that, But after a while, you have to start to see your patterns. Or again, this could be talking about other people. I want you to intuitively know what's coming up for you when I say this stuff. And I'm not saying it with judgment of you. This is for your growth. I strive for you to grow and develop into the best person that you can be. That's my goal. That's my objective. So this is not to criticize you, okay? This is just for you to learn, okay? And have accountability and empathy for your enemy and what they served and taught you, and how you also maybe had a role in it, right? That's true forgiveness. That's true acceptance, when, we can actually, again, reframe. That video's below. We might have some negative ideology around something, and then we can kind of have that thought, accept it, be like, I feel you, that emotion that comes up, it's okay. But then how can I reframe this? And some of the things that they talk about in that video, there's like 6 different things you can, after that one thought you might have, or that inner critic, that doubt or negative mindset, 6 things, they may not all be real, right? They might be really aloof and out there, and you're like, that's not even something that I would imagine it being or feeling or thinking. But the idea here is for you to descatter a bit that thought and to kind of look at something more objectively. And then through that reframing, you come up with your truth. Like we said, 4 of Swords, you get to grab onto that sword there, and then you can move more intentionally. You can have those healthy conversations that you need with more intention without being hostile or defensive here. All right, we're gonna take this over to the love reading. I'm gonna pull some astro cards to see what potential signs or energies or transits are affecting you in love. Okay, you can find that link below and all the other helpful links for the music, the channeled guides, the songs, my series, my playlist, and my Patreon. Aries, what signs are they dealing with in love and partnership? What are they learning in partnership, in love? Through these signs, what do they have around them? What's surrounding them in love? What's influencing their love life? Please show me, Aries. Aries, please show me the energy surrounding them in love. What signs could be in their chart or another's? Yeah, Aquarius, Uranus. So this could be erratic change. Pluto in Capricorn, again, this could be, you could be dealing with an Aquarius, Capricorn, or Leo, okay? But this could also be talking about seasons. August, Leo season. December, Capricorn. Uranus is Aquarius, February. These could be time markers within this dynamic of yours, the person most on your mind. Mercury, yeah. Gemini, Virgo. Again, this could talk about right now, or again, May. Also, I'm getting reminded of Pluto in Capricorn. Like we said, it's in your 10th house of achievements, which is Capricorn 10. 10s also signify completion. That's why the 10th house is there. It's about what have you achieved, what have you not achieved, right? Saturn return sits you down, is like life review time. Let's talk about all those limitations. Let's talk about all your failures and how you can do better, right? All right, let's talk about your love life now. Let's dive deep into that. If you want to find me, again, the links are below. Bye for now, Aries.